What's going on, everyone? So, Gary Trent Jr. has been linked to the Lakers for about a week or so now. Gary Trent, in his time with the Toronto Raptors, has officially came to an end. He has rejected their recent offer of around $15 million a year. He wants, ideally, in the 20 to 25 million range, which I don't see a scenario where he gets that, at least right now. He is coming off of a bit of a disappointing year, especially when the years previous, he looked like a guy that was probably due for 20 to 25 million. I mean, he was making 18 and he was looked at as like, hey, that's a steal of a price. I mean, this is a guy that 2-3 years ago was like leading the league in 30-point games and was like a legit two-way 3-and-D style guy who could put the ball on the deck, go get you a bucket. It's a guy that had some real value. And there was an argument for Toronto to kind of trade him several years back. And they just didn't, right? Toronto was one of those teams that they were a year or two too late from their rebuild. And they probably would have gotten a lot more for guys had they done it sooner, similar to the Chicago Bulls. But I also don't think Gary Trent's kind of decline, although, it still wasn't a terrible year, but I still think that part of his decline was just the mess and dysfunction that was Toronto. I think Toronto was just kind of in this influx. They didn't really know what to do. Then all of a sudden you go and you get all your shiny new toys and you make the trades and you do all that stuff. And then it's like, I just think Gary Trent Jr. kind of just became the odd man out. And so now Gary Trent needs to kind of rebrand his image. And it makes sense that, as we've seen with guys like Malik Monk, go to the Lakers. If you're a big part and actually play a big role, and they have even, I mean, when Monk was here, we didn't have success, but especially if you have success, you're probably getting a payday. Probably going to get a nice little return. Probably not 25 million, but you probably get a significant amount. And so this could be a potential opportunity for him. But Gary Trent Jr. is waiting it out to see if he can get more money. Based on reports, he's lucky to get even the mid-level exception based on those reports. Supposedly, he's more likely than not only going to get the taxpayer mid-level. Probably not going to sign for a vet minimum. But again, depends on what's out there. If teams aren't lining up to sign Gary Trent Jr., I don't know. And it's tough because most teams already have their guy. And it's not like Gary Trent is 30. Right? He's 25, so he's still young. He still has upside. He still has room in the right team, in the right situation to really make an impact. But like I said, most teams are deep at the guard position. And even the teams that maybe could use another guard, they're usually teams that are the tanking teams. Like, the only team that really comes to mind, and this may pain some people, but like using Gary Trent Jr. as like a replacement for KCP, right? Nuggets miss KCP. Gary Trent would make some sense for them. But based on reports that recently came out, the Lakers might be out on Gary Trent, or at least that's what the headline said, right? So basically, this headline's going around that the Lakers, won't pursue Gary Trent. And it's like, wait, what? And then you read it. And it says, according to NBA insider Mark Stein, the Lakers can't even make a run at Gary Trent until they can distance themselves from the second luxury tax apron. Los Angeles is only marginally distanced from the second apron after bringing back LeBron on a 2-year deal worth just over $101 million. Stein noted that the Lakers are exploring pathways to shed salary in trades, although that may also be tricky. I was also added, yet even those kinds of moves likely require some form of second-round draft capital attached, and taking in a player via sign and trade as a first apron team is not permitted under the league's new rules, he wrote. Shams and Jovan previously reported on Sunday that Trent is a name to watch with the Lakers for the $5.2 million taxpayer mid-level exception. So again, got this report that is saying that the Lakers, won't go out, but that's not true. It's not the case, right? The Lakers do want him. The Lakers are linked to him. The Lakers would sign him, but there's hurdles that need to be jumped first, right? That's what the headline should have read, something like that, where it's like, the Lakers are interested in Trent, but it's unlikely or something like that. Now we're talking, rather than like the Lakers won't go after, Gary Trent Jr. or not interested in Gary Trent Jr. or all these other headlines that are going around. basically saying otherwise, other than like, no, it's just difficult for the Lakers to go and acquire and land Gary Trent Jr. But look, to me, the Lakers are actively looking for trades. That we know. I mean, every day there's a new person linked to the Lakers. And I know some people get sick of that. I know some people don't like that, but that's good. Because the more options there are, the more potential there is for something to get done. Gives the Lakers possibilities. Also, that shows that Rob Pelinka's doing his job. Right? As much as people think Rob Pelinka's terrible at his job, whatever, however you feel about Rob Pelinka, right? The fact that we are getting all these reports that the Lakers have touched base with this team and that team about this player and that player shows that Rob Pelinka is at least doing his job. You know, is he doing it well enough? I don't know. That's for you to decide. But at least he's attempting to do that, right? So the Lakers are clearly trying to pull off a trade. Is it going to be the sexy trade, though? Is it going to be a trade for a Jeremy Grant, a Zach LaVine, a Cam Johnson? Maybe it's multiple guys, right? Maybe it's, Grant and Kessler or LaVine and Kessler or, like there's options for the Lakers. That's good. But the Lakers need to shed salary and roster spots regardless. Well, why haven't they done that? Because why would you just go and give away assets for fun just to clear roster spots and just to clear salary when you could potentially do that through a trade, right? Let's say the Lakers do Wendell Carter Jr. was linked to the Lakers earlier today, right? Wendell Carter Jr. makes just a hair under $12 million. D'Angelo Russell makes $18 million. If you want to clear some salary, right, you could potentially do something like that, work out a deal. Maybe a team like Utah, Walker, maybe they would take, Gabe Vincent and a piece. And now you freed up the money to bring in a Gary Trent Jr. and bring in a Walker Kessler, right? Like, if you can pull off a trade or two, because the Lakers need a shed, I think it's about like $5 million, give or take, if they want to free up the full mid-level exception, or I think it's like $6 million. I think it's $6 million is what they would need to get the full mid-level exception, or taxpayer mid-level exception. But let's say the Lakers, pull off a trade in which they can unload 2, 3, 4 guys within the frame of a natural trade, rather than, we have to go do this trade, give up assets, and then go do a trade for a guy that actually gives us an upgrade and give up more assets. Why pay $10 when you could pay $5, right? Or $7 or whatever, right? It's just getting too away. But Gary Trent Jr. on the Lakers makes a lot of sense. He doesn't necessarily at the moment, right? Because can he play the 3? Sure, but he's a little undersized at 3. You don't really want him playing the 3 heavily, right? Certain matchups, certain opponents, sure, you get away with him playing the 3. He's more closer to like a 3 and D2. And look, that's fine if you unload some guys. But right now, it's like you got D'Lo and Reeves, you got Gabe Vincent, you got Max Christie, you got Dalton Connect, right? Like, you got multiple guys that can step in and play the 2, play the point, so the guard position isn't really this huge necessity at the moment. But if you unload Gabe Vincent and you unload D'Angelo Russell and you trade several of these guys, well, now all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, now we got Reeves and Max Christie. Yeah, you got Dalton Connect, but he's also a rookie. How much pressure do you want to put on him? Maybe it makes a little sense to bring in a Gary Trent, right? Or bring in a Spencer Dinwiddie or guys like that. But I mean, look, Gary Trent is a guy that he's a legit 3-and-D guy, get you 38 to 40% from 3, defend multiple positions. He basically defend the 1 through 3. He's switchable. He's a guy that can put the ball on the deck, get a basket, operate, knock down the mid-range, get to the hoop, apply some rim pressure, right? I mean, he's a baller, man. This is a guy that in the right situation, right environment with the right team, I think Gary Trent could easily kind of revitalize his career a little bit here. Hopefully it's a team with the Lakers and it leads to some success. Gary Trent Jr. is that kind of typical 3-and-D style 2 guard, right? Like, And he's still young enough to where there is that upside, there is that room, there is that potential for growth. And so to me, it's like, if you can get him, especially for the taxpayer mid-level, he's worth more than the taxpayer mid-level. He's at least a $18 to $20 million guy. Let's call it 15 to 20 million. Right? So if you can get a $15 million guy for essentially $6 million, you do it. Right? Like that's a no-brainer in my opinion. So to me, if you can work it out to where that can happen, then sure. And also, if you're unloading a D'Lo or you're unloading these guys, then now it's not just like, D'Lo for Wendell Carter, and it's like, we might have been able to get more for D'Lo or whatever. No, now it's D'Lo for Wendell Carter and Gary Trent, and potentially, something else, right? Like it's the and that you could potentially get. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like the idea of Gary Trent Jr.? Do you think he's worth kind of freeing up a roster spot, clearing up the taxpayer mid-level? Again, it's like, who are you going to get that's better? Right? Like you can make an argument he's right now the best player on the market. I don't even think that's really an argument. But do you feel the same way? Do you not? Is there somebody else you'd prefer? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot, so we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.